Welcome back to our channel, dedicated fans of thrilling daytime drama. The drama is heating up, and we are here to analyze every single fascinating detail for you without missing a single beat. At the absolute epicenter of our current narrative storm is the incredibly fraught, deeply complicated, and historically turbulent sibling dynamic between Joey and his enigmatic sister, Heather. In the sprawling, unpredictable world of our beloved town, family ties are often the source of the most profound heartbreak and the most dangerous betrayals. For years, the relationship between Joey and Heather has been defined by a chilling emotional distance, punctuated only by moments of intense friction. Joey, a man who has worked tirelessly to build a stable, secure, and respectable life for himself, has always had to navigate the treacherous waters of his sister's chaotic existence. He understands the fundamental truth about his sibling. She is a storm that refuses to be contained. The profound tragedy of their bond lies in the inescapable reality that blood does not always equate to loyalty. Joey possesses an intimate, almost painful understanding of Heather's psychological makeup, recognizing the subtle, dangerous undercurrents that dictate her every action. This historical context is absolutely vital when examining the current escalating crisis, as it provides the foundation for Joey's intense, deeply ingrained paranoia regarding her sudden reappearance in his orbit. Heather's modus operandi has always been remarkably consistent in its inconsistency. She is a master of the erratic, a phantom who materializes in Joey's life just long enough to sow the seeds of discord before vanishing back into the shadows from whence she came. Usually, her appearances are fleeting, characterized by brief, confusing interactions that leave Joey feeling emotionally drained and incredibly suspicious. She operates on the periphery, a lingering ghost of family trauma that Joey can never quite exorcise. However, this current iteration of Heather's behavioral pattern is terrifyingly different. She is no longer content to merely skim the surface of Joey's existence. Instead, she is executing a calculated, deliberate, and highly strategic invasion of his personal life. The erratic, hit-and-run tactics of the past have been replaced by a slow, methodical infiltration that is as mesmerizingly deceptive as it is deeply alarming. Every time she appears and subsequently disappears, she manages to entangle herself just a little bit further into the delicate fabric of Joey's world, leaving him constantly off balance and struggling to anticipate her next devastating move. The most alarming aspect of Heather's current campaign of manipulation is her precise, laser-focused targeting of Vanessa. Vanessa represents the sanctuary in Joey's otherwise complicated life. She is his romantic anchor, a woman of profound warmth, genuine empathy, and trusting nature. By choosing to cultivate a relationship with Vanessa, Heather is striking at the absolute most vulnerable point in Joey's emotional armor. This is not a coincidence. It is a masterstroke of psychological warfare. Heather understands that the most effective way to dismantle Joey's carefully constructed peace is to compromise the woman he loves. Vanessa, guided by her inherent goodness and a deeply held belief in the redemptive power of family, is entirely unaware of the invisible snare tightening around her. She views Heather not as a threat, but as a broken piece of Joey's history that desperately needs to be mended. This fundamental misunderstanding of Heather's true nature makes Vanessa the perfect, unwitting pawn in whatever dark, convoluted endgame Heather is meticulously orchestrating behind the scenes. The stark, agonizing contrast between Joey and Vanessa's perspectives on Heather is creating a dangerous, widening fissure in their romantic relationship. Joey, burdened by years of bitter experience and broken promises, views his sister through a lens of profound, well-earned cynicism. He sees the manipulation, the hidden agendas, and the toxic interference that inevitably follow in her wake. Vanessa, conversely, operates from a place of optimistic naivety, desperately wanting to facilitate a beautiful, heartwarming family reconciliation. She genuinely believes that by extending an olive branch, she can help heal the deep-seated wounds that have estranged the siblings for so long. This fundamental clash of worldviews is precisely what Heather is banking on. By positioning herself as a misunderstood, vulnerable figure seeking connection, she is actively driving a wedge between Joey and Vanessa. Joey finds himself in an impossible, deeply frustrating position. He must protect the woman he loves from a threat she refuses to acknowledge, all while trying to prevent his own sister from destroying his happiness. It is a precarious emotional tightrope, and the tension is palpable in every single interaction they share. The meticulous execution of Heather's infiltration began in earnest during a seemingly innocuous social gathering at Uptown. It was here, amidst the sophisticated ambiance and the low hum of casual conversation, that Heather first initiated her campaign to win over Vanessa and Danny. The setting was perfectly chosen. Uptown offers a relaxed, stylish environment that naturally lowers defenses and encourages open, friendly dialogue. Heather, utilizing her undeniable magnetic charm, effortlessly navigated the social dynamics of the evening, presenting herself as an engaging, relatable, and deeply sympathetic character. She carefully calibrated her interactions, ensuring that she appeared entirely non-threatening while simultaneously gathering vital intelligence on Vanessa's personality, insecurities, and desires. The brilliance of this initial phase lay in its subtlety. Heather did not force the connection, but rather allowed it to develop organically, expertly mirroring Vanessa's warmth and establishing a foundation of false trust that would prove absolutely crucial for the more dangerous phases of her intricate, malevolent plan. The true, chilling extent of Heather's deceptive capabilities was spectacularly revealed during the now infamous encounter at Joey's very own casino. The casino, a sprawling, vibrant temple of high stakes, flashing lights, and intoxicating energy, served as the dramatic backdrop for a psychological showdown disguised as a raucous celebration. The environment itself is designed to disorient, to blur the lines between reality and fantasy, making it the ideal theater for Heather's elaborate performance. The proposition of a tequila drinking contest between Heather and Vanessa seemed, on the surface, like a fun, spontaneous bonding exercise, a classic, mildly rebellious way for two women to let loose and forge a deeper connection. The clinking of heavy glass shot glasses, the sharp, biting scent of premium tequila, and the encouraging cheers of onlookers created an atmosphere of camaraderie and shared experience. However, beneath this veneer of sisterly bonding, a deeply sinister, highly calculated manipulation was taking place, one that would expose the true depths of Heather's predatory nature. While Vanessa, fully embracing the spirit of the evening and trusting her companion implicitly, threw back shot after shot of potent tequila, Heather was executing a flawless, breathtakingly deceptive sleight of hand. With the practiced ease of a seasoned grifter, Heather systematically and covertly disposed of her own alcohol, secretly pouring the fiery liquid into a nearby bucket while feigning the physical reactions of intoxication. This act of profound deception is the absolute smoking gun, the undeniable proof of Heather's malicious intent. It requires a chilling level of situational awareness, emotional detachment, and sheer sociopathic focus to maintain a facade of drunken revelry while remaining completely dangerously sober. By ensuring that Vanessa became increasingly inebriated and vulnerable, Heather established an absolute, terrifying power dynamic. She was effectively rendering Vanessa defenseless, stripping away her cognitive faculties and her ability to accurately assess the situation, all while maintaining the illusion of an equal, shared experience. This was not merely a prank, it was a predatory tactic designed to exploit, manipulate, and ultimately control. To fully comprehend the tragedy of this scenario, one must delve deeply into the psychological vulnerability of Vanessa. Why is she so susceptible to Heather's machinations? The answer lies in Vanessa's profound, beautiful, yet ultimately dangerous capacity for empathy. She desperately wants Joey to have a complete, functional family. She recognizes the pain that his estrangement from Heather causes him, even if he refuses to vocalize it, and she has taken it upon herself to be the bridge that reunites them. When the alcohol began to flow at the casino, dissolving her natural boundaries and amplifying her emotional responses, the tequila did not just impair her physical coordination, it severely compromised her critical thinking, allowing Heather's insidious whispers and false confessions to bypass her logical defenses and take root in her heart. Vanessa was not just drinking tequila. She was swallowing the toxic, carefully brewed poison of Heather's lies, entirely oblivious to the fact that the woman sitting across from her was orchestrating her emotional downfall with the cold precision of a surgeon. Joey, however, is a man who has survived the emotional battlefield of his family by developing an incredibly acute, almost supernatural sense of observation when it comes to his sister. He is not blinded by the optimistic illusions that cloud Vanessa's judgment. As he observes the aftermath of the casino incident, or perhaps pieces together the subtle, telltale signs of his sister's deception, a profound, protective rage begins to simmer within him. He recognizes the pattern. He has seen this exact type of psychological warfare deployed by Heather time and time again. The realization that she has now turned her sights on Vanessa, the woman he cherishes above all others, ignites a fierce, uncompromising instinct to defend his territory. Joey's internal monologue is a turbulent storm of conflicting emotions, the residual, inescapable love he harbors for his flesh and blood, constantly battling against the overwhelming, undeniable evidence of her absolute toxicity. He knows that he cannot rely on Vanessa to see the truth. He must be the vanguard, the impenetrable shield that protects their relationship from the impending catastrophic fallout of Heather's hidden agenda. The overarching, deeply troubling question that plagues Joey's every waking thought is the mystery of Heather's true motivation. Why is she here? Why now? Joey feels deep in his bones that Heather did not suddenly decide to establish a presence in the DMV area out of a sudden miraculous desire for familial connection. Her arrival is not a coincidence. It is a tactical deployment. What is her ultimate endgame? Is she seeking financial exploitation, looking to siphon resources from Joey's successful casino operations? Is she driven by some dark, twisted desire for revenge, aiming to destroy Joey's happiness simply because she cannot find her own? Or is it something even more insidious, a pathological need to exert control to prove that she can still manipulate the strings of her brother's life whenever she chooses? The uncertainty surrounding her motives makes her infinitely more dangerous. Joey knows that until he uncovers the absolute truth behind her presence in the DMV area, he is fighting a ghost, shadowboxing against an opponent who holds all the cards and dictates the rules of engagement. The current highly volatile situation serves as a profound, compelling narrative exploration of the delicate balance between trust and skepticism within intimate relationships. Vanessa's unwavering belief in the inherent goodness of people is a beautiful, admirable trait, but in the treacherous, unforgiving world they inhabit, it is a fatal flaw. She must come to the difficult, painful realization that a healthy dose of skepticism never hurt anyone. In fact, it is often the only thing that ensures survival. Joey's paranoia is not born of malice or a desire to control Vanessa. It is a defensive mechanism forged in the fires of a lifetime of betrayal. The ultimate test of their relationship will be whether Vanessa can learn to respect and ultimately adopt Joey's cautious perspective before the damage becomes irreversible. She needs to understand that Joey's warnings are not an attempt to isolate her, but a desperate, loving plea to protect her from a predator she cannot or will not see. If she continues to blindly champion Heather's cause, she risks not only her own emotional well-being, but the very foundation of her relationship with Joey. Recognizing that the situation has reached a critical, unsustainable boiling point, Joey is meticulously preparing himself for the inevitable, explosive confrontation with his sister. This is not a task he approaches with joy or triumph. It is a heavy, sorrowful burden. Joey undeniably loves his sister. That underlying biological connection is impossible to completely sever, but that love is entirely distinct from trust. He loves the idea of the sister she could have been, but he absolutely despises the manipulative, destructive reality of the woman she is. As he gathers his thoughts and steels his resolve, Joey is mentally reviewing decades of grievances, compiling a devastating arsenal of truths designed to pierce through Heather's carefully constructed armor of deceit. He is drawing a definitive line in the sand, preparing to establish boundaries that are absolute, uncompromising, and heavily fortified. The upcoming confrontation is not merely an argument, it is a battle for the soul of his relationship with Vanessa, and Joey is absolutely determined to emerge victorious, regardless of the emotional cost. When the moment of truth finally arrives, Joey will not mince words. He is fully prepared to unleash a torrent of righteous, justified criticism upon Heather, systematically dismantling her lies and exposing her treacherous actions at the casino and beyond. He will look her directly in the eyes and deliver a chilling, unequivocal ultimatum: the game's end now. He will make it abundantly, terrifyingly clear that he sees through her charming facade, that he knows exactly what she did with the tequila bucket, and that he understands the dark, manipulative intent behind her sudden interest in Vanessa. Joey will assert his dominance not as an aggressive act, but as an absolute necessity for survival. He will strip away her power by illuminating her secrets, leaving her exposed and vulnerable. Furthermore, he will issue a stern, uncompromising warning that will echo in her mind long after the confrontation concludes. He is watching her. Every move, every word, every subtle manipulation will be scrutinized under the harsh, unforgiving spotlight of his vigilance. She will no longer be able to operate in the shadows because Joey is bringing the blinding light of truth to bear upon her every action. The fallout from this monumental confrontation will undoubtedly send massive, disruptive shockwaves throughout the entire social ecosystem of our beloved characters. How will Heather react to being so thoroughly exposed and cornered? A predator denied its prey rarely retreats quietly. She is likely to escalate, to lash out with even greater ferocity and cunning. Will she attempt to play the victim, further manipulating Vanessa's empathetic nature to paint Joey as a paranoid, controlling tyrant? Or will she temporarily retreat, gathering her strength and recalibrating her strategies for a more devastating, unforeseen counterattack? The suspense is absolutely agonizing, keeping us on the very edge of our seats as we anticipate the next inevitable twist in this dark, familial saga. Furthermore, the impact on Joey and Vanessa's relationship remains incredibly uncertain. Will Joey's fierce, protective intervention finally open Vanessa's eyes to the reality of the threat, drawing them closer together in a united front? Or will the sheer intensity of the conflict, the harshness of Joey's methods, and the lingering residue of Heather's manipulation prove too much for their bond to withstand? As we continue to watch this incredibly complex, emotionally charged storyline unfold, one thing is absolutely, unequivocally certain: the dynamic between Joey, Heather, and Vanessa has been irrevocably altered forever. The days of silent suspicion and subtle manipulation are over, replaced by an era of open, declared psychological warfare. Joey has officially taken a stand, drawing his sword to protect his kingdom and his queen from the insidious threat of his own blood. The stakes have never been higher, the emotions have never been more raw, and the potential for absolute devastation is terrifyingly real. We will be meticulously tracking every single development, analyzing every nuanced interaction, and providing you with the most in-depth, comprehensive coverage of this explosive storyline. The battle lines have been drawn, the players are in position, and the game of survival has officially begun. Stay tuned, because this is one dramatic collision course you absolutely cannot afford to miss.